Never stroke another man's rhubarb. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Tell Me About Your Damn Book. I'm your host, Stephen Lomer, and guess who we have this week? It's someone we've been waiting on for a very, very long time. Now, I don't want to talk down to any of the other authors that we've had so far on this season, but this is the ringer right here. This is the one that I've wanted since we started. This was the one that I wanted to kick off season 2 so that people would actually watch and pay attention. Season 2 has been tanking, but now we finally have her here. She is straight out of Maine and right to our set, ladies and gentlemen, Katherine Silva.
Oh, thank you.
See how excited she is? Isn't this great?
Really sweet.
She's so thrilled to be here, and so am I. I'm so thrilled to have her. So according to the extensive, exhaustive research that my team put together, you are a connoisseur of coffee, which we can tell because you have coffee right there and you're officially branded Tell Me About Your Damn Book mug. But you're also a victim of crazy cat shenanigans.
I am.
How does one become a victim of crazy cat shenanigans, and what shenanigans are we talking about?
So my cat is named Lemon Jelly.
Okay.
He is a rescue cat.
Okay.
And he's just frequently getting into everything. Killing plants, wrecking the house. So he just keeps me on my toes.
Okay. Where did the name Lemon Jelly come from?
His name at the shelter was Jelly, and he had bright yellow eyes, so it just kind of fell in and it fit.
Perfectly logical. And how long have you been tormented by Lemon Jelly?
Oh my God, it's been like 7 or 8 years now.
And he's not getting any less shenanigan-ish?
Maybe a little bit,
okay.
but not.
As age creeps up on him?
Exactly.
Nice, okay. You are also a member of the Maine Writers and Publishers Alliance, the New England Horror Writers Association, and founder of the Mid-Coast Maine Halloween Readings series. And that's, you people won't be seeing this until probably like mid-November-ish, but it is, we're right in Halloween season right here, so that seems like a perfect talking point there. So you founded this organization?
Yeah, it's something I've been doing for a few years. I haven't done it in the last couple years just because it is a little bit difficult to round up that many people to do 3 nights of readings. But we usually do them in various locations around Mid-Coast Maine, and there's usually 5 to 6 readers per night, reading original stories and
scary stuff, Halloweenish stuff.
Yep.
Nice. Now this was very cool. I noticed that on your website, which is very cool, and it's Katherine Silva author.com?
Yes, it is.
KatherineSilvaAuthor.com. You have a page where you have listed out the books that you've written, and then you have playlists that are associated with each of those. Tell me about that. What's that all about?
Music is a huge inspiration when I write, so I usually just throw on Spotify. I've got playlists for all the books, and when I'm thinking of a scene, I just kind of think about what mood I want to be listening to in order to really get in the mood. And so I have playlists for all of my works in progress, for all of my finished stories. Usually the works in progress, those lists are like 200, 250 tracks. And I pare it down towards the end. I put everything in order and sort of... It works as a playlist for scene by scene, usually. Interesting.
Now see, I find that I can't have any distractions when I'm writing. I can't have any music. I can't have, there can't be birds chirping. There can't be children running around in the neighborhood. It has to be completely silent or I get distracted. Is that not the case with you? Do you thrive with the music playing?
It depends on what it is. It definitely depends on what kind of music. I'm more of a lover of classical, ambient, just minimalistic stuff. And if it's got lyrics in it, I usually can't focus enough. It just distracts me. And total silence, sometimes I can write in, but that can also be distracting too. I just hear things in the background, clocks ticking, cats destroying things.
Sure.
I just, I need something to sort of get my mind on so that I can work.
Gotcha. Now, who are some of the artists we might find on your playlist? Who are some of your favorites
So
to write to?
older playlists, I would definitely say it was things like I have some Rob Zombie, I've got some Coldplay, Linkin Park, you know, and then that sort of more now I've got classical composers, Max Richter, Abel Korzeniowski, Hans Zimmer.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a good pick.
Film composers. Several of them are film composers.
Nice.
And then I do have sort of this separate other project I'm working on that is basically just third wave ska and punk music, which is very much not what I usually do, but it fits this character so well that I've been listening to a lot of Streetlight Manifesto and the Violent Femmes and things like that.
Huh. Now, do you recommend that people listen to these playlists when they're reading? Do you think that it enhances that experience, or is it mostly for your benefit, for your writing?
I mean, I think it's just an interest point for people. I don't expect people to get the same feeling that I got out of the book while listening to the music, because it's a very individual experience. Every time somebody reads something, it's an individual experience. So it's more out there just as a, like, if you're curious, if you wanted to know what inspired this scene, then they can take a look and look up songs, and they might find something that they like. And
Neat.
yeah.
Okay. Cool. I also was able to look up your influences, and they include Michael Crichton, Richard Matheson, Joss Whedon, Anthony Bourdain, Arthur Conan Doyle, and Anne Rice. That's a pretty eclectic group. Is there a commonality, do you think, to any or all of those writers?
I mean, to some of them. It's more just, I do like to pull influences from various genres. I don't like to just write one thing.
Okay.
So Michael Crichton was my introduction to action adventure writing and a little bit to horror too, because he wrote Jurassic Park, and that was kind of a thriller. And I just kind of fell in love with his writing.
Sure.
And Jurassic Park is probably one of my favorite books, because I really did love the technical aspects of it.
There were
very
plenty
scientific.
of technical aspects to it, yes, as I recall, yes.
And then I think the weird one out of that list is probably Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah, that jumped out at me.
But he was a brilliant writer. He was a brilliant writer, and he had a very distinctive voice, and I loved that. And he didn't care. He just didn't care.
It's true, he didn't care.
And I love that. Just to not care about form and method, and just to do it. Just to write what you love and say what you need to say, and there is something just cool about that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So,
yep. I've never read any of his. I should check that out.
Kitchen Confidential.
Kitchen Confidential.
That was his first book. That was the one that I read first, and it was good.
Nice. I'll check that out. Kitchen Confidential. I'll write that down. I'm not actually writing anything down. And so this sort of ties into what kind of writer you are. According to your website, you identify with dark fiction.
Yep.
What would you say constitutes dark fiction?
Well, I don't want to just identify myself as a horror writer.
Okay.
Because you can have thrillers that are dark. You can have suspense novels that are dark, and dramas, and dark comedies as well. And I don't want to define myself as just horror. Okay. So I do get a lot of influences from dark subject material. So as long as I can just say dark fiction, it kind of just encompasses everything.
Okay.
And that's good. I'm good as being defined as that.
By dark fiction.
Yep.
Gotcha. But then, as I understand it, you're also injecting humor into your writing. Is it dark humor? Is it black
Sometimes.
humor?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I do have one novel that is a comedy that is not dark at all.
Really?
That was just kind of a one-off. I had been writing a lot of dark fiction, and I really just wanted a break from it. I needed a little bit of something lighter and more fun, and I wrote that one, and it was a really easy project to write, and I loved it, and I'm glad that I wrote it. But it's, it's not what I typically like to write.
Okay. But it was a palate cleanser for you.
Yeah, it was nice. It was just kind of like a nice soothing, and then I can go back to the dark stuff. So,
So you were temporarily a Jedi and then back to the Sith.
yes.
Okay.
That's a good. Yes.
We've got a Sith Lord, ladies and gentlemen. We need to step away for a moment. We will be right back with Katherine Silva. Welcome back to Tell Me About Your Damn Book. I'm here with Katherine Silva, and look, something has appeared between us magically. It's called The Collection by Katherine Silva. So Katherine Silva, tell me about your damn book.
So The Collection is actually a novella.
Okay.
It takes place in 1925.
Okay.
So it's after the First World War.
Mm-hmm.
Main character is a newspaper editor from London. And he has just sort of found out that his father's died and is at the lawyer's office sort of picking up his father's will or finding out what he's been willed.
Okay.
And sort of in the hustle and bustle of things, he finds out that there's somebody else there that has been willed a book that belonged to his father that contains all this information about a collection of strange items that his father was doing research on.
Aha. Okay.
And
hence the collection.
And since his father, they were kind of estranged when his father died, so he doesn't really know anything about this collection or why it kind of caused his father to go crazy and kill himself. But he decides that he wants to know more, and so he goes forward and starts investigating.
Okay.
And from there,
but then we're in spoiler territory.
Okay,
yeah, we
don't.
Okay, we don't want to. We don't want to
no.
drift into spoiler territory because then people won't buy it.
Exactly.
And then we've wasted our time. What genre would you say this most closely emulates?
So I do have it listed as a psychological thriller.
Okay.
It is a bit of weird fiction, though.
Okay.
So those two things, I would say, that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do you recall we were at the Red Hook Brewery for the Author's Night by the Sea event?
Yep.
And there was one of your books. Everyone kept raving about the back. There was this one?
It was this one.
Okay, that was actually my question. So
Yep.
so people would go and they would pick up the book and they would read the back and then go running over to fellow authors and say, have you heard about this? So apparently your real strength is writing back cover blurbs.
Yes.
Because, I mean, people were just going nuts for that. That was selling the book. And that's what every author hates, is writing blurbs, is writing back cover copy. How did you do this? How do you come by this? Can you bottle that and sell it? Because there are some authors who really, really need that.
I hate writing the back cover blurb.
Right, yes, we all do.
So I don't know what I did to make it sound so amazing. It is amazing. But it just,
I'm gonna read it. Okay. I'm gonna read it and we'll see. Okay. So the header is, you are nearly there and you are not afraid. All right. Okay. So I'm already intrigued. In the wake of his estranged father's death, newspaper editor Peter Davidson discovers the old man, a renowned professor, owned an estate somewhere in the dense woodlands of Norfolk County. Also to his surprise is that a woman he's never met has inherited this place. Miss Inga Rapp was his father's last research partner in the concluding years of his life and seems particularly protective of the estate, as well as a book containing all of their investigations into a collection of unusual objects. Okay, all right, I understand it now. There's actually more, but I'm not. That's spoiler territory. I don't want to go any further than that because I want you all to buy it. My goodness, that is compelling.
Thanks.
I guess maybe it was just you struck on a really good story, and it was that much easier to describe, and that it just lent itself to a really good blurb on the back.
Sure.
Because
sounds great.
now I want it, and thankfully it's here, and I get to have it afterwards. But no, that's really cool, and I'm glad that you had so much success with it. When we were at the book fair, it was taking away from my sales, but I don't hold that against you. We're in two totally different worlds, so it's fine. It's totally fine. I'll let that ride. So we have a segment of the show called The Five. And it has replaced a segment that we used to have called Questions from the Great Unwashed, which is where we would get questions from social media, and they were always terrible, and it was always a complete disaster, and people were mortified, and there were lawsuits, and it was terrible. So we have standardized the questions to the same 5 questions that we ask every author who comes on the show. So are you willing and able and ready to partake of the 5?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Here we go. Question number 1. If they published an author's yearbook today and you were in it, what would you be voted most likely to do?
Oh, man. God. Oh, that's a tough one.
Is it really? Because you can just say most likely to succeed. I mean, it's.
Well, now you've already said it.
Well,
so
you can say it. You can say a variation of it. You can.
Maybe to try to write something in every genre, because I'd like to do that.
Okay.
But put a dark twist on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Voted most likely to write something in every genre, but put a dark twist on it.
Yes.
See,
it's a long one.
But what's interesting about this question is that people answer it, and then it's exactly what they ended up doing. So it really works out well. So if there was an author's yearbook and that's what you were voted most likely to do, you have done exactly that. So it worked out perfectly. Yeah. Okay. Good. Question 2: which 4 faces would appear on your author's Mount Rushmore?
So Michael Crichton.
Okay.
Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
All right.
Anthony Bourdain,
Uh-huh.
of course. And Jeff Vandermeer.
Jeff Vandermeer. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm not familiar with him. What has he written?
So he wrote the Southern Reach trilogy, which was, they just made a movie of one of them, Annihilation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's a respectable Mount Rushmore. I like that one. Question 3. What's something about you that, if revealed, would surprise and amaze those who know you best?
Telekinesis.
Question number 4. What is your favorite curse word, and in what phrase would you be most likely to use it?
I think my favorite one that I've heard is Holy Frankenfuck.
Holy Frankenfuck.
Yes.
Nice.
That's definitely my favorite.
Okay. All right. That works.
And it's a surprise, best used around Halloween.
Uh-huh.
So.
And it's when you're scared or
yes, suddenly
surprised
scared
by
or
something.
surprised by something is a Holy Frankenfuck moment.
Holy Frankenfuck.
Yep.
All right. I have a new favorite. Cool. And question 5, if the world ended right after this video, what final message would you want to convey to your fans?
Oh, thanks for reading.
Now, see, that's an excellent answer, and that's what I always expected people to say. We've had a lot of interesting answers to that, where people would say, please buy my book, which makes no sense because the world is ending right after this video.
It'd have to be pretty quick.
Yeah, and I mean, it is a novella. It is easier to and quicker to
Yeah.
read than a novel. But so many authors say, "Oh yeah, please buy my book," or one author said, "Please delete my browser history," which I thought was pretty clever, and then advise people to do the same themselves. But again, the world is ending, so what difference does it make? What's on your?
I mean, I feel like you'd have to expand on that and say, find a bunker, buy my book, read it.
Oh, now we're getting somewhere. See,
but-
now you're thinking a little deeper on the question.
It's,
And we don't really have a definition of how the world is ending. So if
it's true.
if
If
it
it's
is,
a long process, then yeah, you got time.
you got time.
got
But in
time.
theory, if it ended right after this video, it would depend on what sort of extinction level event we're talking about and whether you could make it to a bunker with your entire collection. But
Yes.
I think grab all of my books and go to a bunker and read them, so that all of the surviving humans would be literate with Katherine Silva.
That's all they'd have to read, and eventually their descendants would just assume that it's true, and yeah, it's reshape the world.
Oh my goodness. Well, I can't think of a better moment to pull the plug on this than that. So I would like to thank Katherine Silva for joining me at long last. We've been waiting a very, very long time, folks, to have her as a guest. You have no idea. The book is The Collection, and it is available Amazon.com.
Available on Amazon.com and also on my website.
Also on your website, which
Yep.
is KatherineSilvaAuthor.com.
Yep.
Go out and get it, people. Read it, enjoy it, and bring it into the bunker and survive Armageddon with it. Thanks, everybody. Cheers.